Well, hello there, Dippers, and welcome back to Game 19 of the Ducks on the Pond podcast, the official baseball podcast of Sauce on the Side. As always, I'm Drake, your host, joined by Leighton, the producer, the man, Pip Shaventone.
Rain postponements are bullshit.
I agree, especially if you're a fantasy owner. And sitting in the kennel,
Woof, woof.
we have Mr. Lex Glasgow.
The Reds pulled that fire alarm.
Oh, good old Cardinals truther over here, standing on his soapbox. So Dippers, today we have a hot stove that is absolutely on fire. We have a lot of former All-Stars on the move, some in their prime, some past their prime. We have a big mammoth of a man who went down, and the Yankees are holding a candlelight vigils. Our boy Ohtani is back to hitting ding-dongs, and we're actually going to introduce something new into the fallacies today. We're going to do a little player comparison, a little player A plus against player B. Who would we like to see on our team? But before we get to any of this, Leighton C., you know what to do. Cue the tunes.
Hey, Ducks on the Pond here, kid. Ducks on the Pond. Let's go now, baby. Drive 'em in. Welcome to Ducks on the Pond.
A Sauce on the Side production. Alright, guys, I alluded to it before the break there. Aaron Judge. He's the mammoth of a man that has went down swinging this week. He got hit by a pitch. They said that he can swing a bat in game situations in 3 to 4 weeks. I guess he chipped a bone in his wrist. And the Yankees decided that they would hold like a candlelight vigil inside Yankee Stadium, which is probably the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I missed that.
You didn't see that?
No,
oh, man.
I missed that.
Well, it was... You remember whenever the Oklahoma Sooners acted like Baker Mayfield died? And they carried his jersey out?
Yeah.
That was exactly what it was like. I'm like, dude, this is the most bizarre thing ever. But you know what? The Yankees are hilarious because they're an organization that should probably never get too emotionally involved with players, you know, because all they do is just like the Yankees probably have more turnover than any other franchise like ever. Like they're always just cycling players in, getting new guys, and their commitment to Aaron Judge is real.
Oh yeah, it's real. They want his number retired out there in the Yankee shrine.
Oh yeah, if his number's not hanging up at the end of his career, the Yankees fans will be pissed.
Yes, they want him out there.
I mean, he's a good player, but they're going to miss out them butts and seats this week. People not buying tickets to the game. That's the big thing. So they're saying, hey, let's have this candlelight vigil. Let's put some butts in seats so we can honor our guy that's hurt for a couple weeks.
He's still in spirit, everybody.
They're like, how can we sell tickets without Aaron Judge here? Let's make it Aaron Judge Day, and we'll have
Aaron Judge Week.
Yeah, Aaron Judge Week. Everybody
wear a cast on their hand to the game this week.
A cast on their left hand, a gavel in their right, and they'll just be up there. Oh man, dude, Yankees fans crack me up.
On pace to strike over 200 times, by the way. He might not get there, missing 4 weeks.
Yeah, he might not. Hey, this might be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, blessing in disguise for the guy.
Yeah, it's like a contract stipulation, you know. If you don't strike out 200 times, you get this much money. Boom, he's right there into it.
It was strategy.
It was a setup.
That'd be 400 times in 2 years.
Do you guys think that this is gonna really hurt the Yankees going down the stretch here?
I think we'll hurt him because he is, probably the best player. And when he comes back, last year Dan Bogaerts broke his wrist and didn't have the same power he had before he did it. And then Judge obviously has more power than Bogaerts does. But I can see it affecting his swing a little bit, and I maybe miss a couple balls, possible home runs.
I think it's going to affect them going on. I mean, obviously the guy probably is their best player. And I think the big thing is, how's he going to come back? Is it going to be one of those nagging injuries that just lingers on for the rest of the season, going into the playoffs?
Or is it maybe?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine going on. He's still pretty young. But if it nags on to the playoffs, yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, that's your wrist. You got to use those to hit every ball you do, and especially a big power hitter like him, if you don't have the power in his wrist, he won't be able to drive the ball.
Right. So the Yankees, you guys know that they're only 6.5 games up on the Oakland Athletics for the second wild card.
They're actually closer to being out of the playoffs than to winning the division.
Yeah. Hey, remember that take? Very, very, second week of the MLB season? Yankees will be out of the playoffs?
It's possible.
It's back on.
It's back on.
It's back on.
Take's back.
My take is back. I'm gonna squat on it for a while. I think that the Yankees, this injury is gonna be big. There's gonna be a little bit of problems in the clubhouse, and the Oakland Athletics are coming for them.
They need that guy they traded for in the offseason to step up. They need him to be the MVP he was in the NL last year. They need him to be that guy now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if they'll miss the playoffs, but they're going to mess around and do it. They're going to mess around and flirt with it if Aaron Judge's bat's out of the lineup and Giancarlo doesn't propel himself to the MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. I think that's who needs to step up the most. Because how many of these players on the Yankees have we seen just explode and have big months? Gleyber Torres, Didi Gregorius, where's Stanton?
I think it's coming. I think last year after the All-Star break, he really turned it on. I think he's in a new environment, so that's probably played off to the slow start a little bit. But I think he might settle in and start getting going. And this Judge injury just puts him in a bigger microscope than he was before.
Yeah, I agree. And it's going to be fun to watch. We'll see how he responds. Yeah. I think that if he responds well, it's going to do huge dividends for the Yankees in the postseason. But if he doesn't respond, they're going to be sitting there not even having home field advantage in a wild card game, and with a banged up Aaron Judge. So we'll see how this plays out. It'll be interesting. So we'll get to some trades here, and guys, we're going to start it off hot and heavy, and we're going to talk about my Cubbies a little bit. Cubs trade 4 of our lower level prospects for Cole Hamels. And does this move the needle for you guys at all with the Cubs?
It does. It does. Cole Hamilton had a really terrible month of July. Before this month, he'd only allowed more than 4 earned runs once. So he can bring back what he was doing before July. It'd be huge for you guys. And look at the trade. You guys just traded, 4 high A ball prospects. So if you don't pick up his option next season, you just lost 4 guys to win the World Series. So even if you don't win the World Series this season, don't keep Cole Hamels, it's still worth the risk.
I think it's definitely worth the risk for the Cubs. I mean, they're getting a guy that's been to the big-time show before.
Oh, yeah.
He former World Series MVP in Cole Hamels. He's a big-game pitcher. I think he's got enough in him for a late-season playoff push here.
Yeah, dude. The way the Cubs have built up their organization, just like it's kind of funny to me. Like, it's like, let's go out and get all this super young, interesting, exciting talent, and then we're gonna go out and get like old, big name pitchers. Like if you're over 32 and you pitched in a World Series, guess what? The Cubs are after you.
Well, Theo basically laid out the blueprint when he came in. He said, we're going to get all these top prospects and position players, but we're probably going to have to buy our pitching.
Yeah, we'll pay for arms.
That's basically what they've done. And it's worked out. They won a World Series out of it, so let's see if it can pay off again.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And, whenever I look at Cole Hamels' season, overall, his ERA and his numbers haven't been what they have been in the past. I mean, this is a guy who is a year and a half removed from like a 3.3 ERA with an all-star like season. Now he's gotten a little bit older, and his numbers have kind of worn a little bit. And there's a 10-game stretch actually that I was looking at through Cole Hamels' numbers where it is super impressive pitching. He, in a 10-game stretch, this was sandwiched between, giving up the record pace of home runs he's put up at the very beginning, and then just where he fell off the map in the last 4 starts. A 10-game stretch, he pitched against Cleveland, Boston, Houston twice, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. All teams that are going to be featured in the postseason this year. He had a 2.81 ERA over those 10 games. And I think there was the Royals were sprinkled in there twice. But those are 6 playoff games right there, and a 2.81 ERA. If the guy can bring those kind of numbers to Chicago, which I know we talk about it all the time, change of scenery for older players is good. An old dog, you put him in a new house with some younger dogs, you're going to get a little life in that puppy. Yeah. You're going to get a little life in him. And I think this is exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, and what's the ERA right now?
It's over 4.
Yeah. Before July, it was 3.6. So that just shows how having 2 or 3 bad outings out of 4 can really bump the ERA up.
And he's a guy that doesn't walk a lot of guys. When you get into the playoffs, you can't have guys out there that just walk guy after guy. You got to have power arms that pound the zone, and he's a guy that definitely does that. So he should pay off.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm looking forward to it.
That's a good trade. Probably my favorite trade that's been done.
Yeah,
so far.
as far as trades that have been done so far, I think this is my favorite. I honestly do think this is my favorite. And we'll talk about another guy. Another pitcher with an ERA north of 4 was on the move with the Yankees. J.A. Happ, and they got Zach Britton, obviously in separate deals. Guys, does this move the needle for you guys with the Yankees at all?
I'm not afraid of J.A. Happ at all.
He's a quality pitcher.
He's a good pitcher. He'll be the fourth guy probably, so he's a good number 4 pitcher. So he'll help them compete with the Red Sox staying in the division race. But really, the Zach Britton trade, what I'm looking at, that really helped him out.
Yeah.
He has allowed a run. Actually, like last night, the first time he allowed a run in over a month.
He walked a guy in and got booed.
Okay, he got booed, yeah. Sorry to hear about that, Yankee fans.
Yeah, Yankee fans.
But yeah, like, last night, first time he allowed a run over a month. A kind of a bad hand deal. But now they have that 7-8-9 guy.
It's just they didn't have to give up like a number 1 catching prospect.
Right.
Dude, this is what I'm saying. Whenever I said last week how I hated the hand deal, like, look at this Zach Britton. When Zach Britton's on, Zach Britton may be one of the best closers in the game. And, I mean, they gave up a sack of rocks for him.
And that's the risk, back to the hand thing. That's the risk you take, though, whenever you set the market for something.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to set the market, that's the risk you take, is overpaying for a guy.
They gave the best prospect for probably like the 4th or 5th guy that's been traded so far.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with the Indians with the hand deal. The Yankees kind of did the same thing with Britton. They got that guy to sure up the end of the game back there. Him and Chapman 1-2 punch.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be pretty good. I think Happ. I think he's actually a pretty solid pitcher.
Yeah, I think he's a very quality pitcher.
The thing about him is the Yankees are needing starting pitching. They don't have a lot of depth past Severino.
Yeah.
I mean, Tanaka had a pretty good outing the other night, but he hasn't been himself since he came off those injuries a couple years ago.
No, I agree.
So I think Happ puts in a big thing. He's a good rock there for the bullpen. A guy that can throw some innings for him, And the reason they went and got him, he's good against the Red Sox.
And to add what you said about Tanaka, I guess his elbow is a ticking time bomb, and it's going to break at some point.
Well, he throws that split-finger fastball that's not good on your arm at all.
Yeah, so I guess it's like a ticking time bomb. So I guess if he does go down, they do have Happ now to step into that spot.
Who did you guys? Okay, say you're the Yankees. Okay, obviously they're probably going to be playing in the wild card. Sorry, Yankee fans, but you're probably going to be in the wild card game, especially with the Judge injury. You throw Severino game 1 in the you throw game 1 in the wild card, and then who's your second pitcher there? I mean, who's the guy that you're going to go up and say, okay, you're facing Chris Sale tomorrow night. Who are you throwing?
It have to be Tanaka.
Probably Tanaka. But the thing
Are
about
you
it is,
comfortable with that?
No.
No.
You gotta get through that one game wild card to get there. What if Severino has a blow up like he did last year in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
And they have to bring in a guy for a big inning.
Yeah.
Sever's been blowing up all month too, so it's a bad sign for him.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. I think he'll be fine. It's just how's he gonna handle the second half, getting tired and everything.
Yeah, I think, man, the Yankees, they're. I don't trust the Yankees in the playoffs yet. I like the Britton trade. I think Britton, as far as like an 8th inning guy, 7th inning guy, big jam, basically.
Yeah.
I think that if the Yankees are in a big jam in the playoffs, boom, Britton's going to be the guy to come in and pitch. I mean, we're talking about a guy. He was the saves leader like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, in 2000, I think it was 16. One year he just tore it up. He allowed 4 runs that whole season.
Yeah, dude, he was an animal. He was an animal.
You should tell Buck Showalter to put him in a jam in the playoffs.
Speaking of that, actually, Van Riker had written an article, and it talked about that exact thing as Zach Britton and Buck Showalter.
Where can they find the article?
They can find it on saucypodcast.com. It'll be posted at the conclusion of this podcast.
Nice. Okay, well, maybe he'll talk about Buck Showalter and Zach Britton and that beautiful relationship that we got to see explode. Okay, does this make the Yankees a favorite in your eyes or not?
It kind of keeps me in the same place to me because I always had them at 3rd, but now I think they're all more likely to get there.
Yeah.
I think if Judge can come back healthy, it propels them. But if not, I think they're staying right where they are. I think they'll still get that wild card spot regardless.
Yeah, I think these moves are kind of offset by the fact that Judge went down. You never want to lose a really, really good player right in the middle. I mean, we're about to be in August, boys, and that's not good. So I think it'll be interesting to see how this team pans out. So stay in the division. We'll talk about the Red Sox. And guys, I think as far as good good pieces added to a team, I think this is right up there with the Cole Hamels trade. Obviously, there's more experience with Cole Hamels, but I like this a lot. And that's the Red Sox going out and getting Nathan Eovaldi, pitcher for the Rays, now a Red Sox. Latency, you talked about it a week ago, how one man goes down, next man up. Well, you got you a new next man up.
Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi. Oh, he throws 100 miles an hour, so that's awesome. So he's useful. His ERA right now is 4.26, but 2 starts ago he allowed 8 runs. Before that, his ERA was 3.35.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's awesome. And he eats innings. He's gone through the 5th inning in all but 1 start, and gone through the 6th inning all but 2 starts.
Yeah.
So it's an inning eater, and if you can't find a guy who's going to be out there and be a stud, allow 0 runs and 10 strikeouts, you want a guy who can get you into the 7th inning and get to the bullpen. So I like this trade a lot, especially what we gave up for him.
I mean, he's a guy that's just came off injury. I mean, he made his first start, in June?
May 30th.
May 30th, so basically in June,
Yeah.
made his first start. He's only thrown 57 innings this year. He's got a 4.2 ERA. That's not bad for a guy that just came off Tommy John. You know, he's just now getting that feel back for in-game pitching. I think he will be a good guy for the Red Sox.
Absolutely. And you look at him, he took a whole year off, and then in his first 10 starts back from injury, 5 of those starts have been quality starts. You don't expect dudes to just go out there and bulldog it and get you 6 innings strong in, their first 10 starts back. So I really like this. I think that Eovaldi is going to take leaps and bounds just being in a good organization, being in a good clubhouse. He's going to be able to learn from Chris Sale and David Price. That's a little bit better than... I know Snell's been on fire this year, but those guys obviously have a little bit more to offer than, Snell and Archer as far as being able to teach you something. And I think he's going to take steps and bounds with that. And then you mentioned that the fact that the clubhouse is good and the fact that he's going to get stronger and stronger as the season goes on because he's actually throwing now. Half of his starts have been quality starts. You don't expect that out of guys coming right off of Tommy John's injury, right in the middle of the season where everybody has been seeing live pitching for months now. So I'm a huge fan of this trade. I think that coming into the playoffs, I think that he is going to he'll win the Red Sox at least one game in the playoffs that they might not have won.
See, and people look at ERA. That's a sexy stat for pitchers, but if you go over and you look at his whip is under 1 right now.
Oh, wow.
His whip is under 1 right now. It's at .98. I like that a lot better than some of the guys around the trade market. I read an article a couple months ago about how him coming back might, and if he does well, he'd be the best starting pitcher on the trade market.
Right.
And I think very well he could be the best starting pitcher that moved this week.
Yeah, he could be. And I'm excited to see how he does. He's a guy that you kind of just like, the fact that he throws just sheer gas.
Yeah, it's really fun seeing I throw 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, and... I think that he's going to win you guys one game you shouldn't win in the playoffs. So we'll go ahead and get to the Brewers. Probably a team that, in my eyes, I had the Brewers and Yankees being the team that needed pitching the worst at the deadline. The Brewers, in the offseason, here's what the Brewers did. The Brewers looked at themselves and said, okay, so we need pitching. We don't have anything. So we're going to go out and get Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich. And then here at the deadline, they say, okay, guys, we need pitching. So they went out and traded for Mike Moustakas. So, guys, what do you think about that trade?
We talked about last week about how the Brewers just, they're wanting more bats.
Yeah.
I got another bat, man. I guess they're
wanting to play football up there.
I guess what happened. The guy in the war room, everyone called the office. They said, okay, Mike Moustakas can't hit his body weight, but can fucking mash.
Yeah.
Do we be another guy who can hit us another 10 home runs in the second half, or are we going to get a pitcher who's okay? And they said, well, if we score 10 runs at a game in the playoffs, I bet we win the World Series. Give us Moose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moustakas, he does mash a little bit. He hits some bombs. He hits bombs, big moves when he gets out there on second base, puts some moose horns on his helmet. And a little known fact, though, they got Joakim Soria, too, this week. Big time. He's a pretty good reliever right now.
Yeah,
I
didn't see that one.
Why do they need relievers? You get me Hader and Nabel out there to close down the 7th and 8th. They just need. I don't know why they didn't get any starting pitching. Does that make any sense?
Doesn't make any sense. I've read where they've shown some interest in a couple guys, but It's the Brewers.
Chris Archer.
Yeah,
There you go.
Chris Archer.
Okay, the Brewers. I don't trust them. Still don't trust them. I don't let this past week, where I think they're like 6-4 in the past week. I think they're on like a 4-game winning streak or something like that. I look past that. I don't see them still making that playoff push. I think they're still going to have that collapse here coming soon.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that this is going to be a playoff team whenever all the dust settles. I think that they still need starting pitching. I think that the Chase Anderson ERA under 4. I feel like that's a little bit of fool's gold. Julius Chasen, he's having like a career year, sub 4 ERA.
Shashin, I think it's it.
Shashin?
I think it's what it is.
Unless they do what they've done in the past, where they went out and traded for CC Sabathia in his prime and traded for Zach Greinke in his prime. I don't see them taking that step over the top.
Do you think that that's playing a factor? The fact that they didn't win a World Series trading for starting pitching in the past.
It might have, but I mean, they got to the NLCS twice with those guys. They were right there.
You would think that would make them want to go out and get those pitchers, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they have 3 starting pitchers right now with ERAs under 4, guys that probably shouldn't have sub 4 ERAs. And they need to go out. If they went out and got like a Chris Archer, that would move the needle for me a lot with the Brewers.
When was the last time they made the playoffs? Back in
The Brewers probably 3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago.
It was back when Ryan Braun was still juicing.
Yeah, I know they made it in 2011. That's who the Cardinals whipped up in the NLCS.
That might have been their last.
I think that might have been their last time. That was right after they got Greinke, wasn't it? When they had Big Daddy Prince Fielder out there.
Greinke was a rental, wasn't he? For like a year.
The same thing with Sabathia.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it.
Hell, they almost gave CC Cy Young votes whenever he played a half season.
Yeah, he almost won. He almost won the Cy Young in both leagues that year. Playing half seasons in both.
Dude, he's a mammoth of a man.
CC used to be good as shit, yeah.
Yeah. Now he's like the 8th starter for the Yankees.
That's right.
In rehab.
Yes or no? Brewers playoffs? Yes, no.
Yes.
No.
See, I just think that there's too many good teams in the NL. In the AL, I feel like they would be, one of 5 good teams, so they would get in. But in the NL, I think it's too much of a dogfight, and I don't know that the Brewers are going to sustain success throughout the end of the season. Because, like I said, the starting pitching, guys have numbers that they probably shouldn't be having at this point, and it's going to fall off. They need to go get a big arm.
They did it last time they played for 2011 when they won the division.
Good call,
won MVP.
Good call. Oh, so it was a mix of both. So Ryan Braun was using steroids still, and it was the year that they went out and got Greinke. So.
Yep.
All right.
And Prince Fielder was just,
he's having a monster year, too.
Just destroying the world.
Yes.
So we got another one here. Diamondbacks trade for Eduardo Escobar. Guys, the Diamondbacks, we've been saying it all season, they needed bats. They went out and got him another bat. Do you guys like this move for the Diamondbacks?
I do like it a lot. He can play basically every infield position for him in the M2. And then, like you said, he needed bats. He's batted in .277 with 15 home runs, 63 RBIs. And it's not that the Diamondbacks can't get guys on base. They just have no slugging whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you can get a guy on base, put Escobar in the 2, maybe in the 5 slot, then that'd be way better for him.
I feel like I've seen this scenario somewhere. Tony La Russa team making a trade, pushing for a wild card spot. I feel like I've seen this before here somewhere. I love this trade.
Yeah,
La Russa knows what he's doing. I think he's one of the best baseball minds in all of baseball.
It's
when
really
he's not drinking.
We're falling asleep at a red light.
Falling asleep at a red light.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But, no, like you said, Lewis, it's been really impressive what he's been doing the past 2 seasons, getting J. Martinez and Escobar for basically nothing.
Yeah.
They've been 2 really impressive moves.
I think that he's one of the best guys. I think they're going to make that playoff push. He's the whole reason why I think they're going to make the playoff push, to be honest. Goldschmidt, he's turned his season around from what he had.
Yeah.
And
I really like this move for the D-backs because if you look at it, I know Moose probably a little bit better of a player than Escobar, but I like this move for the Diamondbacks more so than I like what the Brewers did because this is a huge upgrade for them. This is a guy who's, he automatically becomes the leader for extra base hits in the D-backs clubhouse. He has more extra base hits than any other Diamondback. He's going to be one of 3 everyday guys who's hitting over 270. So if you add a guy into a lineup that's, we'll say struggling for what we presumed that they would have had at the beginning of the season, this lineup's going to be great. I think that this is going to be great for them. They're going to be able to actually hit. They can pitch. Obviously, their pitching's lights out. Might be the best in the MLB. And now you're coupling it with a guy who comes in and is going to be one of your better sluggers in the clubhouse, I love it. I absolutely love it. And it just gives a little bit more insurance to Goldschmidt. And like we say, having good bats in your lineup help your other good bats. So I like this move a lot. And we'll wrap up the trades here with the Phillies. They went out and got Asdrubal Cabrera from the Mets. Basically, the Mets are going to only trade their, 4 worst players. Won't trade anybody else, which makes absolutely no sense. But, guys, for the Phillies, does this move anything for you with the Phillies?
It does bump up for me because, like I said, first, second base, immediate upgrade. He's batting .274 with 18 home runs. So I like to trade for the Phillies. And really, with all these trades, I like them all because they didn't give up anything.
Right.
All these trades, they all upgraded everything, and they kept all the top prospects. And it's been such a weird trade season.
Oh, yeah, it has.
It's been an active trade season, though. I like it. It's not the best move on the list, but it's not the worst. I think it kind of shores up a spot where they had a big need for.
I agree. I think this helps out a lot for the Phillies. But it doesn't. It moves the needle a little bit, but not a lot.
And not a lot.
It still makes them a fringe playoff team that maybe the most likely to win the East, but I don't know if it's going to lock them in.
I don't think it doesn't affect the playoff picture, how the playoffs pan out for me at all.
No.
I don't think they're going to win a series in the playoff regardless, so let's just see. I mean, it might help him in the long run just a tad. I mean, I think after this year he's gone.
Yeah.
He's a free agent after this year, so.
Yeah, and dude, most of these guys are on expiring contracts, which makes it nice for these teams. But we'll talk about a little bit of Ohtani. Guys, we'll get to the Ohtani watch. This is a staple of the show. We talk about our boy Shohei, such an interesting player. Channel has entered Joey Gallo this week, though. He batted .130 with 7 strikeouts and 2 home runs. Still no word if he's going to pitch this season. Guys, what do you think about our boy Shohei Gallo Ohtani?
He's not going to pitch again this season.
No,
he's not going to throw this season. Will he pitch at all again in his career? Might be a question. But as far as the batting goes, home runs win games.
Well, I think he just needs to bite the bullet, take the rest of the season off, have the Tommy John surgery that he needs. They're wanting to avoid it with him, but I think he just needs to get it over with. Do it while you're young, not when you're older.
Dude, I feel like with Tommy John surgery, dude's just pitter-patter around, and then boom, it's 3 weeks before the playoffs start and an elbow blows up. Do it now while your team's out of contention. Do it now while, you guys will be a fringe playoff team again next year. You guys are going to have Pujols on the books for half your life as an Angel. So I think they should do it now instead of waiting. I feel like they've already wasted 2 months of this.
Yeah.
Man, it's such a bummer.
Well,
hopefully he doesn't have to have surgery.
Let the guy recover and get healthy. Just take him out of the lineup. Just say, hey, we're not thinking about this year anymore. We're thinking about your long-term future. We want the whole reason they brought him over here. They didn't want him for 1 year, 2 years. They want him for 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
So let's do that now. Let's plan for the future instead of planning for the here and now.
I think the reason they haven't done it yet, we could look at another guy's long-term future, and that's Mike Trout. They want to get Mike Trout to the playoffs more than anything
they
to keep him there.
Well,
and they know they need Ohtani to do that. So that's why I think they haven't had the surgery already.
If they need Ohtani to do that, but he's not really performing.
Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
B, Ohtani's just basically wasting away right now.
But the thing is, though, he has time surgery now. He misses all next season, too. So you're pushing that 2 years more away. And by that time, I think that's Mike Trout's last
Okay, but if he doesn't
year.
have it now, he injures the... If he gets injured more by pushing it off,
Let's say
it just lingers, and he never becomes what he could be. That's more important than let's get Mike Trout to the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I don't think Mike Trout's ever going to leave LA.
I think he could leave LA.
No,
I think he's going to leave LA.
I think he'll leave LA.
No, he's in a huge market. He flies under the radar in a huge market. I think that's the kind of guy Mike Trout is. I think he likes that.
He might be like Paul George, just does not want to be the all in the spotlight.
Kawhi Leonard doesn't want to be the guy on the team.
It would be really good, but he didn't want to have all the cameras on all the time.
He doesn't, dude. Mike Trout's the best player in baseball. If he went to any other team, it's weird because he's in LA. So you would think that would be spotlights on him all the time, but he is in like maybe one of the largest markets in baseball, and nobody's there to watch him. I mean, I know that they're playing second fiddle to the Dodgers, but like he's still in LA and he's in a huge market. He's going to be able to get paid. They're going to throw money at him, and he still flies under the radar. No other team would he be able to do that for. No other team. Maybe the Rays.
Athletics.
Yeah.
Athletics.
There you go.
Well, then we'd see his stolen bases go down and his singles go up. So,
Yep.
all right, I talked about it earlier. The anything more than a fallacy this week is going to be a blind player comparison. We're basically going to read the numbers off, and we're going to try to take a guess at who these guys are. First, we'll say would we rather want player A, player B, and then we're going to take a guess on who they are. So, first one's up. Player A, an average of 285, on base percentage 398, 26 home runs, 61 RBIs. Player B, 301 average, 387 on base percentage, 24 home runs, and 80 RBIs. Guys, where would you lean for on this?
I'm going to take player B.
I agree with you, actually 100% there. Home runs are about the same. RBIs are way up. On-base percentage about the same, and average about the same. All things considered equal, I'll take the RBIs.
Player B, yeah. Lex?
I'd take player B too, based off this year.
Yeah. Do you guys have any idea who these players are?
Well, I know who they are. I made the list.
Yeah. So
I think I know who both are. Player A is Aaron Judge. Player B is Suarez.
Yes.
Ooh, wow.
Gino Suarez.
Holy smokes. 80 RBIs, dude. How in the hell does the Reds suck so bad?
He's second in baseball in RBIs.
Yeah. I knew he was up there in like top 5. That's crazy, though.
Their
dude.
pitching is a dumpster fire, man.
Yeah. Dude, I went through the list one day. I think it was 4 out of their 5 guys in their starting rotation had a losing record in A-ball. Like, they were in their last year in AAA.
A-ball?
Yes, their last year in AAA, 4 of their 5 starters had losing records in AAA. How in the hell do you think that's going to accumulate to MLB success? I have no idea. And whenever you took all their averages together, I think that the team, or their wins-losses together, they were like 70 and 80. Like, it was terrible. It was sad. So we'll go to option number 2 here. Good call on those. The RBI numbers is what got you there. We'll go to option 2. Player A is, these guys are not hitting for average well. 249 with a 324 on base percentage, 27 home runs, and 79 RBIs. Player B is hitting 218, which has been a number we've talked about all season, so I think I know who that is. With a 365 on base percentage, 25 home runs, and 62 RBIs. Lex, I'll let you take the floor on this one. Who would you rather have?
Oh, I'd rather have player B.
Player B?
I'd rather have player B. He's getting on base at a 365 clip. Well, we all know who player B is, so...
Yeah, it's Bryce Harper.
It's Bryce Harper.
I agree with you, because both those averages suck. Like, if both averages suck and a dude is getting on base at a 365 clip, I think I agree with you. Because the only thing that's different is the RBIs with these guys, really.
Yeah. Player A is actually my newest favorite non-Red Sox, but I take player B still.
Who's player A?
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis. Dude, that's who I was going to guess.
I knew who it was because you said, ooh, Chris Davis, pre-show.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we knew Bryce Harper.
A lot.
I thought that was Chris Davis. I probably should have guessed before I said anything. I didn't realize he had 79 RBIs. I knew his home runs were up there, but...
Dude, he carried the Athletics to the Mission title.
Yeah.
Can you imagine an Astros-Yankees wildcard game?
An Astros-Yankees wildcard
Yeah.
game? That'd be hilarious.
That's possible.
It is possible.
I think there is only like 3 or 4 games out.
I think it's 5.
Is it 5?
I think. I'm not sure, though. They're close. They're nipping on the heels because I think the Mariners are 4, and then the A's are 5.
Get a little Verlander versus Severino.
Uh-huh.
That'd be pretty
There
good.
you go.
That'd be
That'd be
awesome.
a wildcard
Yeah,
game.
that would be hell.
That'd be a great wildcard game.
And then guess who gets to play the winner?
Red Sox.
Red Sox. It's like, all right. It's like, here you go, Boston. You guys just won 110 games. How do you feel? Oh yeah, you guys ready to play the Yankees or Astros?
Ready to play the defending champions?
Yeah, you guys ready to play the winner of the 2 teams who played in the CS last year?
The A's are actually 6 games out, so highly unlikely, but still
Yeah.
possible.
Didn't
Still
the Astros
possible.
beat the Red
Still
Sox
possible.
last
Yankees could still miss the playoffs.
The Yankees could playoffs too.
What'd you
year?
say?
Didn't the Astros beat the Red Sox last year?
Oh,
yeah.
smoked us.
Smoked
Yeah.
them.
Fucked us
Bad.
up. I think 4 games. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
bad
it
series.
was bad.
Layton doesn't want that deja vu all over again.
No, that would not be good.
Yeah, I don't mind not going back to Houston.
So, guys, if the season ended right now, the AL East, we'd have the Red Sox. The AL Central, we have the Indians. AL West, we have the Astros. And your wild card teams are the Yankees and Mariners, with the Athletics nipping on the heels of the Mariners. Guys, this has been the same thing for months on end now. I think we say every week that this is set. Are the A's getting any attention in your eyes?
They're getting. I still think these will be the 5 teams, but the A's almost have me convinced they'll be better than the Mariners.
Yeah, they've almost done that for me, too.
They're playing better right now, but I think over the last 2 months the Mariners will be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think those two will see a lot of changing in and out between the Mariners and Athletics. I think the Athletics will take it. Billy Bean knows how to get there.
Oh yeah, dude. Billy Bean is a dog whenever it comes to getting into the wild card game and then exiting the playoffs. quick.
Exiting the playoffs quick. You know, going on. What was that big winning streak they had? Over 20 games, something like
21,
Yeah,
22.
it's 20.
They need fat Jonah Hill to come back.
Yeah,
Need
if they
fat
could
Jonah
get
Hill.
Jonah Hill back into that organization.
Not just Jonah Hill. It's got to be the fat version of Jonah Hill, not the skinny version that we see now.
Yeah, if we get fat Jonah Hill back in that clubhouse, I think that this team could possibly make the playoffs.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree. I think this is set. The NL, though, a little more interesting. And we have the NL East, the Phillies, the NL Central, the Cubs, the NL West, the Dodgers, and the NL wildcard teams. We have the Brewers and Diamondbacks. Guys, what do we see here?
I like this. I think it's going to be it. I had Diamondbacks out until now, but when they got Escobar, that's a good bat for them. I think I've pushed them into the playoffs. They're not going to get past the Dodgers for the NL West title, but I think this will just be the playoffs.
I think the Diamondbacks are there to stay.
I
I
agree.
think La Russa, he put him in a good position with that Escobar trade. I think the Diamondbacks also be a dangerous team in the playoffs. I don't think you want
I
to
do not
see
wanna
them.
play them.
I don't think anybody wants to play them in National League.
Corbin, Godley, Greinke,
Yeah.
dude, do
with
not sign me
with
up
Goldschmidt in the lineup.
for that. Yeah, do not
Yep.
sign me up for that. I think the Brewers are going to be odd man out here. I got to see the Braves kick it back up though, because man, they fell off a cliff on me. But I just don't know if the Brewers are going to be able to hold it there. They've looked not that good lately, and the question marks that I've had just haven't been answered from them. I need to see them go out and get a pitcher. Now, if they go out and get Chris Archer, I'll be the first man to sign up for the Brewers in the wild card bandwagon. But I don't think that's going to happen until then. Guys, any views from the cheap seats here? What are we excited for this week?
The Dodgers are going to take with Chris Archer,
The Dodgers going to trade for Chris Archer?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
and then they'll might be my World Series favorite at that point.
No.
No, they won't be, but another
I'm
favorite.
excited for the trade deadline hysteria. To
Yeah.
see what happens. To see all the crazy moves teams make. All the I like the dumb moves. That's my favorite one. to
Yeah, the
watch.
dumb ones where you're like, what the hell's this? Like a
Yeah.
team that should be selling is buying at the
Buying
deadline.
in.
Like, I can't wait for the Padres next week. We're like, why the hell did the Padres go out and get Chris Archer?
They
Really have it.
Why the hell did the Padres go get Adrian Beltre?
Well, they have 60 hours left in the trade deadline, so
Yeah, it's dwindling fast. Basically, I'm going to be locked in for the next probably 60 hours. I'm going to be locked in for the next 60 hours. I'm most excited to see where Chris Archer goes. I think that we've seen Chris Archer be a dog before. We've seen him in the World Baseball Classic where he was mowing guys down. We've seen him whenever he has a good clubhouse camaraderie around him. He's a bulldog. He is a bulldog, and I think that he will be a player that can have a team make the next step. And I'm most excited to see where he lands. And I think if the Brewers were smart, they would go try to get him. Guys, anything else before we wrap this show up?
as always, thanks for listening. We are now 1 month away from being off of SoundCloud, so on SoundCloud, just go to Spotify. We still have a lot of SoundCloud listeners out there, so just move to Spotify now.
Football season's less than a month away.
I cannot
It is,
wait.
man.
And on that note, for Drake, for Leighton, for Lex, Dippers, as always, stay saucy.